And just for your listeners who don't know who I am a parent coach. I'm the founder of Real Life Parent Guide, and I specifically work with moms and dads of tweens and teens to create happier, healthier, more functional relationships at home. And I do that not because all of my relationships have been perfect, but because I am the mother of 5. My youngest is 14 and my only daughter, and my oldest is 32. And the reason I got into parent coaching is because I have struggled as a parent. My oldest son will be 10 years sober next month, but he had an addiction to alcohol and drugs, and it really caused a lot of challenge for our family and for me as a mom in general. It's what prompted me, that wake-up call was really what prompted me to look at the way that I was parented and the way that I'm parenting my kids, or was parenting my kids, and really to want to make a shift from parenting over my children to parenting with them. So, I mean, that's a big nugget right there. But what I've done is create a niche where I specifically help this population of parents, because I think that there are challenges to parenting, whether your kids are 2 or 12 or 22. However, my passion lies in those parents that are in the teen years, in the thick of it, and like white knuckling it their way through it, because parenting is a long-term relationship proposition. And if we want to have good relationships with our adult children, we've got to realize that adolescence is a time that we have to work with them rather than over them, so that we can have that good relationship as they become adults.
Yeah, and you've been really important in my life, and I thank you for that. And I should have been joining those parenting groups online, and actually they were in person, and I got busy with kids at my kids at home or whatever during the evening, and then now they're on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no excuse. I really don't. I mean, where I can't drive, I'm not driving anywhere to take my kids, to parks or to karate or to whatever. So I joined in, and it was just really great. And there was another woman on there, and she had little ones. We have older ones. And, but even just listening to her, my heart went out to her, and it just, it was.
Right. We can appreciate, because we've had little ones, we can appreciate how difficult it is. But no matter what phase of parenting you're in, there's always like a struggle. So, there's always, first of all of us are navigating this for the very first time, right? So it's a learning, we're learning every day as we go along, and embracing and releasing what normal looks like. Because I don't think as families, we'll go back. It's not going to look like it did previous to this period of time together. So the question is, what can we do as individuals, as parents, as families, to grow together during this time? Share with me a little bit about some of the challenges. I know your kids you've got some teens and then some young adult children living with you.
We're a blended family, so our age groups, our ages are 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, and 12. And so we only have 3 of those living with us, all boys, and the oldest is living with us actually. And he actually had issues with drugs and alcohol, and he's doing fabulous now, and he's living a clean and sober life, but he is working. So then I have the 12-year-old and the 17-year-old at home. And just like we were talking about right before we went live, that I was managing, I was coping, and I thought that I was doing fine. And my husband and I had a little argument the other day, and I didn't handle it well at all. And I had to, humble my heart to him and ask him for forgiveness. But it was a real wake-up call for me to say, okay, I'm not having me time. I'm exercising. Yes, I'm doing a lot of the things that we should be doing. I'm exercising, I'm having my personal quiet time in the morning, but you really advocate for us to really have me time. I'm not having, like, I need to be exercising by myself because I'm running with the kids and doing stuff with them, and I need to be having just me time.
Right. And it's great
So
that you're doing those things together, right? At times, but I suggested that when there's a two-parent situation, and especially with the other mom that we were talking with who has littles, and that we really need to take time to ourselves to just get outside, like, take a 10-minute walk, take a 15-minute walk,
yes,
reconnect with outside. We are very, very limited, clearly, as to what we can do. But now more than ever, I think I mentioned this the other night, is a lesson in, we have only today, we have this present moment. So much has been taken away from our everyday life. This is such an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves. And as
it
moms, we
really
tend to get
is.
into that whole, I got to take care of everybody else. I got to make sure everyone's fed. I'm still cleaning the house and now everybody's home. And like, some of this stuff we just have to realize is not important. I think what we can really use this quarantine time for is, again, spending time on ourselves, reconnecting with ourselves, learning who our children really are,
Yes, that's so
really,
important.
really, like, appreciating who they are and not who we want or need them to be. Um, there's
That's very
also
important.
there's also the idea that we spend a lot of time, consciously or unconsciously, looking what other families are doing. How are my kids measuring up to other kids, whether it's physically, academically, sports, in the way of sports, in the way of music, whatever it is. We're our own units here now. Like, we need to appreciate and understand who it is that we're with and get to know those people that we're with.
And that's so true. And also, I am getting to know my kids a little bit more intimately. Even in the summer, they're in karate camp, they're in other
Yeah.
camps, football and other things that we occupy them with. But we're not doing anything but spending every moment together. And as you know, Kim, as they get older, you don't spend every minute with them. You just
Right.
don't. As they get older and they mature, that's not what happened that's not what happens. But when they're little, you do. I mean, you're with them nearly every waking moment, but when they get older, you're not. So this has been a real eye-opener for me with especially my 12-year-old, and seeing some characteristics in him that I'm trying to work with. And we started doing the 7 highly effective habits for teenagers, which has been awesome. Sometimes they're not too happy with
Imagine.
that. But you also said on Monday night, you said, live in the moment. And we hear that all the time. Oh, live in the moment. No, we are living in the moment, and we can,
Yeah.
this has been important to me, because I can either choose to be very, very busy, and don't get me wrong, we need to be busy with work and whatever we have going on in our lives. I'm talking about the things we don't need to be busy with. And I'm learning that's not that important at the moment. I can come over here and, I, you know what I mean? I spend time with my kids. I'm talking about the real nitty, getting down to the nitty gritty with our kids, because we're with them every moment now. And
Right.
so that was really important for me that you said that. And not because when you're in the moment too, you're not thinking about the future, because there's so many things that we can be worried about right now and freaking
Yeah.
out about.
Yeah.
And so
And
I
and
also,
and to if you stay in that mode, if you stay in that whole, like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Are we going to get sick? How are we going to
yes,
financially survive that? All of these exterior things that we literally have no control over. We
none.
don't. We
Yep.
don't have. I mean, and the more we perpetuate that fear and of uncertainty, the worse it can be, not only for ourselves, but for our spouses, for our children. And never has it been more important to understand that now is all we have. it's all we've ever had, but we can get so busy with like the next day, the next day, the next day. I mean, I think this
Yes.
has been a perfect example of really understanding we're here, we're now. Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up in this moment with my child? Who am I? Like
Right.
who am I? What's most important to me
Right. I mean, the
at the end of the
statistics
day?
are that abuse is on the rise right now, will be during this time. And, people are losing their jobs, and the fear factor is out of control, especially with the media. And I just think if we are, and look at, and I have complete empathy for people who are going through these kinds of things. And I'm so sorry if you're that person. And it breaks my heart. But when you're in the moment and you're really tuning into what is happening, and also what you said, taking that me time, taking that real me time to really reflect, and with no outlets right now, being kind of creative. I talked about, I don't have that date night with my husband that I can go to a restaurant, right? So we had,
You could still pick up a meal, right? You could still,
yes,
and while he picks up the meal, you could set a table outside on the patio
yes,
and have it. I
yes,
mean, there are ways. It's about us being more creative with the limited resources that we do have, and
yes,
it's more about you and your husband having a quiet time together. It's interesting when you have older kids, right? Because they're up longer, they're
yeah,
around, and they might have headphones in their ears, but you don't sometimes feel like you can have an actual conversation with your
right,
spouse if you've got older kids around, even if they are
right.
walking around with those headphones in their ears and they're
Oh, they
not
can
really
still
listening
hear.
to you.
They act like they're not, but it's like they can still hear.
So
Um,
I would ask parents, like, be creative. Like, how can you get your basic emotional, physical needs met?
yes,
Everyone's got a different situation. Everyone's going to everyone's going to have challenges through this, whether it's their own health or the health of a loved one or a financial, a job situation. It may bring clarity to some of the relationships in your home. If you're having a difficult time with your spouse, some of these things are going to rear their heads during this time
yes,
when everything else is stripped away. But the big question is, who do I want to be, and how do I want to show up in this moment? Because this moment in
that's
this
so
day
important.
is really like all that we have, is all
It
that
it really
it's all that
is.
matters. So,
So
um,
what are you're having some, I mean, you have meetings every week, I believe. When are your parents?
I'm doing several things online, which is fantastic. I'm supporting parents in several different ways. I do a monthly meeting that you were referring to before. It's typically in person, but of course we're not doing that at this point. It's called Moms Empowering Moms. It is a group that meets in Flower Mound for moms of tweens and teens to authentically connect. Sometimes we have open meetings where we just talk about whatever is on everyone's hearts at the time. This month, our April meeting is the 20th, and it is about addictive behavior. So we've got a speaker coming in to talk to us about, like, when should we be worried, and what should we be looking for in our children in terms of addictive behavior.
Okay.
So that can be found at meetup.com, Moms Empowering Moms.
Also
That's
on
the
your
name of the group.
Facebook.
Yes,
And
and my
and I
Facebook.
yeah, and I try to share your Facebook post too, so I'll do that for this one on the 20th. And so, all you moms and dads out there that are, we're dealing with this new transition that is significant. It's not small, it's significant. I just want to encourage you to, take the suggestions that Kim is giving me, but also reach out to her, or join the group for the Monday nights, because it really is effective. And even just me joining in and just being able to listen to that other mom, because other moms usually join in, but there was only one other mom. So it was extremely beneficial for me personally, and I just loved it. And I also want to apologize. This is the first time I've ever done a Facebook Live and on through a Zoom or Facebook Live period. And so I didn't know this, but I can't see any comments. So I am very sorry. It was like, get your questions ready, but yeah, that's not happening. But anyway, so
we can go back and address them. We can absolutely
okay.
go back and address them. And so I guess I would say that in terms of parent coaching, and I think what I do on my support group calls too, is listen. I want the parent that I'm working with to feel heard and understood. And I also it's my role as the parent coach to ask the questions that are going to get the parent to the place where they feel confident and they feel that they are in alignment with their own wisdom about parenting. And we all have parenting strengths, but when our kids' behavior is constantly triggering us, we often feel like, I bring nothing to this. I can't do this. I'm totally messing up my kid, blah, 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 blah. And we all have strengths, and we are all the right parent for the individual child that we have, and that our children come to us to teach us. Okay, we impart lots of things on them: how to tie their shoe, how to ride a bike, how to drive a car, how to be polite, when to look people in the eye. We do all that, but they also give us the ability to learn patience, grace, to stay calm in difficult situations, to
So
choose
true.
to take care of ourselves. There's so many things that our children teach us. I think my kids have taught me way more than I have taught them about life and what's important about
I
life.
think that's the same for me too.
So
Most
right now
definitely.
is the perfect time to focus not only on ourselves but on our families. What's really important? What are our values? What do we stand for? Who do we want to be in this time and in this moment? And how do we want to live differently after this? Because there is an after this.
Yes,
You know,
there
how do we want
is.
to live differently? So I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today, and
Absolutely, Kim.
you know that
Thank
I
you
have such a
too.
passion for supporting parents as a group or individually.
You really do. And you are very, very thoughtful with what you say. And excuse me, I'm getting choked up here, but you're very thoughtful and you're great. So I just want to say thank you. I'm sorry I'm getting choked up, but you are, and I appreciate you as a coach. I appreciate you as this friendship that we're developing, and that I can come to you and be vulnerable. Gosh. So I just thank you so much. And for you parents out there, I just really, if you are just needing that outlet and you're needing extra help, just give her a call. It's okay. We all, we all need help. We all
Yes.
need help, and it's ongoing. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So thank you, Kim, so much. And I just appreciate you.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the opportunity to chat this morning.
Okay.
Take good
Thank
care.
you too. And I'm going to try to shut this off. And if it keeps going, all right, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Okay. You there?